Spoiler alert, it's absolutely possible for anyone to become a star, a superstar, or even legendary, but almost no one will. Why? Because so few are willing to go all in and give it all they've got to rise to more of who they're made to be. Have you ever wondered why so few people seem to become legendary? I mean, why is there only one Serena Williams, one Elon Musk, one Michael Jordan, one Bill Gates, or Florence Nightingale in a lifetime? In any arena, there are only a handful of people who become stars, even fewer who become superstars, and even fewer who become legendary. So, how is it that these people get there? Were they just born with the skill or the knowledge they needed to make something work? Do you agree with that? So today we're diving into what it takes to become legendary. Spoiler alert, it's absolutely possible for anyone to become a star, a superstar, or even legendary, but almost no one will. Why? Because so few are willing to go all in and give it all they've got to rise to more of who they're made to be. It takes work, it takes planning, it takes execution, it takes consistency, and it takes understanding that motivation is not what causes traction. Now, when I was growing up, when I would get an idea about something I wanted to do, my parents would say, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as unto the Lord. How many of y'all have heard that, right? That comes from Colossians 3:23. When we study scripture, we often find that New Testament verses are actually quoting Old Testament passages. And this one is quoting Ecclesiastes 9:10. Ecclesiastes was written by the wisest man in the world, King Solomon, and he said, "Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might, for there is no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in the grave to which you are going." The Hebrew word there is koach, which means strength, power, might, ability, and with vigor. And what's fun is that Hebrew words typically have dual meanings. So they'll bring more depth to the purpose of the word, right? And koach is also used for wealth and riches, suggesting that when you work at something with all your might without leaving anything on the table, it will bring substance to your life with wealth and riches. Here's where King Solomon starts breaking down the secret to being extraordinary. In Ecclesiastes 9:11, he says, "Again I saw that under the sun the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the intelligent, nor favor to those with knowledge, but time and chance happen to them all." What he is saying here, what is he saying here? He's saying that every single person has the same opportunity to be great at whatever their thing is. You don't need to have a particular set of skills or be born with special talents to excel. You just need to decide. Make the decision that you are going to be the best of the best in whatever you do, and then do it. Master what you need to master to get you there. We all have the time and the opportunity to do whatever we do with all our might, but most people will pick to do something else. So the word decide comes from the Latin root de, which means of or from, and side, which means to cut. So when you decide something, it means that you are literally cutting yourself off from any other possibility but being the best of the best in class and category. And here's the deal. Best doesn't mean you're striving to be better than someone else. It means you are striving for the best to your capability and purpose that God carved into you. But don't make the mistake of limiting God. Jeremiah 29:11, right? Only God knows the plans that he has for us. That's why discovering your purpose is such a big deal. Because if we're out here chasing 27 other dreams instead of the one that God gave us, then we're always going to hit a ceiling and wonder why we can't move forward. I think that's one of the beautiful things about helping business owners. When we get to flip their businesses to help them step out of it and then put them in the right place for them to be. But when you don't know your purpose, you can't master the skills you need to fulfill it because you're out here trying to master something else that isn't in alignment with who you were made to be. And so that's why anything we do, we always start with calling and purpose in our programs. But here's the deal. When you have your purpose dialed in and you are working to align your destiny with who he created you to be, You can watch God take you far beyond the ideas that you have for you. When you make goals and strive for things, they are typically based on where you are in your knowledge of the world and how it works. But God's ideas for you go way beyond your current knowledge. Verse 12 says, "For man does not know his time. Like fish that are taken in an evil net, and like birds that are caught in a snare, so the children of man are snared at an evil time, when it suddenly falls upon them." So scripture says, whatever you do, do it with all your might, because you're dying. And when you die, game over. Once it's over, that's it. You don't get another chance. Beyond that, realize that you will win out over people better than you, more talented than you, with more resources than you, simply because you put everything you've got into everything you do. This is scripture. This is the truth of how to be the best, how to be legendary. And if something is not worth putting your best into, it's probably not worth doing. This is again why purpose matters. You are walking in something right now that you believe God called you to, something He purposed you for. And we know that it's worth doing because God carved it into you. So you just have to decide. Do you want to step into this and do it with all you've got? Or do you sit in your fears and worry about whether or not you can really do this? And let me tell you what happens when you're sitting there. You see some shiny object where someone says, "Here's my thing. I made $1 million with it. Let me show you how to make $1 million with your thing." And, here's the deal. They were more than likely a one-hit wonder that just missed out on the scalability factor in their product. They hit the traction phase, but they never made it to the expansion phase. But what you want to do is run straight to that giant because of big promises and slay that thing. Most of your online marketers promise this, but they miss a very important factor. We compare ourselves to everyone else, and here we have scripture telling us that there's no particular favor to someone just because they have a degree or have money or are intelligent and know more than others. It is simply a difference of putting in the work and doing the thing with all your might. Just do your best. That's it. That's the game-changing factor. And your best should change over time. Your best should be fluid as you grow on this journey. Serena Williams was not the best and most talented tennis player. She faced numerous obstacles and challenges early on in her career. Then she practiced harder than anyone else so that it wouldn't happen again. Is that what you do? Do you kick it up a notch when something doesn't go your way? Or do you call it and say, "Oh, well, it must not be for me"? I'm going to say that most of the time our MO is to chalk it. Then we're still trying to figure out how to live in our purpose and step into our calling because it's carved into us. But we aren't actually correcting and adjusting, we're quitting. Whatever you are in or whatever you're about to step into, work at it to your utmost ability. Don't play. If you have a side hustle, don't be playing. If you have a course, don't be playing. If you have a business, don't be playing. God has what you're doing in your heart for a reason. Don't toy with it. Don't play like it's small potatoes. It's a kingdom impacting initiative. There are people that you are supposed to meet and influence through what you are called to do. You know this. So what are you doing to prepare yourself? How are you positioning yourself to step into your calling, to function in your purpose? Because remember, you get to rise up into that purpose. The things you've encountered on your journey are nuggets to prepare you for what the next is. And guess what? The next is coming. It's coming whether you've prepared yourself or not.